If fear is the only thing stopping us from achieving our dreams, and we only fear what we don't understand, then the antidote to fear is knowledge. All we have to do is find out who has the knowledge that we need to conquer our fears and achieve our entrepreneurial dreams. My name is Callum Walker, and welcome to the podcast that will help you figure it out and conquer this lonely entrepreneurial journey.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the podcast. Today's a huge one. A huge one. And I think really what I'm going to kind of reveal to you, I find, is I've been around an incredible number of successful people, whether it's been successful businessmen and women, whether it's been successful athletes, and again, that almost kind of that statement that, you know, who you surround yourself with is who you become. And I think that's really, it is important because it really kind of articulates that what happens is that when you're around these successful people, you begin to see why they have such ridiculously successful results. And when you see the reasons as to why they have such good results in their life, you can then pick up on that and then begin to apply it to yourself. And effectively, if we do the things that successful people are doing, then effectively we're going to get the results that successful people are getting. And if I almost kind of look at the number one trait that I have seen and picked up and applied into my life that has, come from successful people, it's been this one thing. And how is today going to help you? Well, today will help you if you kind of find yourself in a little bit of a rut. Whether it's something's just not working, you feel frustrated, you feel like you're just not making progress, or maybe you feel like you kind of hit a little bit of a ceiling. You've hit a little bit of a ceiling and you're not really able to kind of break through that ceiling, whether it's with your business, whether it's with your training or whatever. And I think really, if I can kind of summarize what it is, it really comes down to, if we're not happy with the results that we have in our life, it's because the results that we've got are a direct result of the actions that we have taken. So if we're not happy with our results, then we've got to change our actions. If we want successful results, we need to take successful actions. It really is that simple. But how do we do that? Well, if we look at the results that we get, they come from the actions that we take. But if we look at where the actions that we take come from, they come off the back of the decisions that we make. And the decisions that we make come from the thoughts that we have. And if you go about reading any of the most popular self-help books, the books in the personal development world that have really kind of made the biggest impact on people's lives, they've all agreed on one core thing, which is that your thoughts become things, that your thoughts direct the direction of your life. Your thoughts are a direct source of the results that you've gotten in your life. And we come back to that statement that I articulated right from the start. If you're not happy with the results that you've got, it's because you've taken poor actions and you've made poor quality actions off the back of poor quality decisions, which comes off the back of poor quality thoughts. So then it becomes really, really simple, because if we simply change our thoughts to have success-based thoughts, we then begin making success-based decisions, which then result in success-based actions, which then result in successful results. It really is that simple, and we don't need to overcomplicate it. But just because something's simple doesn't make it easy. I feel like I'm full of fucking quotation of cliches today, but it's true. Because I think that the number one most important journey that any one of us can ever go on is a journey to control our thoughts and to be in control of directing our thoughts. Because right now, most of us, if we're kind of just drifting around, if we're in the same spot that we've been in for a long time, and we're just getting the same sort of results, it's because we've been operating on autopilot. Effectively, what we've been doing is just doing the same thing over and over again. We're repeating the Groundhog Day. And again, like, you keep doing the same thing, you ain't going to get anything different, are you? So to get something different, you've got to do something different. But to do something different, you've got to think differently. And this comes down to, well, if I'm not getting these sort of results, what is it that is actually directing my thinking? And again, I'm not going to go too crazy into this because this isn't an episode all on psychoanalysis. But fundamentally, the thoughts that are driving your actions right now are just old conditioning. It's just old thoughts that are in there that have been planted in there from your environment, from the experiences that you've had. And you'll find you'll just continually be running on these old thought patterns, these loops of, well, I've always thought like this and I've always acted like this, which is why you've always got what you've got. So what we need to do is break that loop. And by breaking that loop, what do? We have to get in control of our thinking. You have to direct your thoughts. And the thing is, you have the ability to direct your thoughts. But that doesn't necessarily mean just because we have the ability, we ever exercise that ability. And that's why the majority of the time throughout the day, you're operating on autopilot. And I know that because I fucking operated on autopilot. And off the back of that, that's when I just kept hitting a ceiling. I kept hitting a ceiling and getting the same thing over and over again. And then going like, oh, why is nothing changing? Oh, why is nothing happening? Well, nothing's happening because you're doing nothing different. Like, you keep getting the same things because you keep doing the same things. Because you're still letting the same thought patterns drive your life. That's what you were doing, Callum. So I had to fucking break that. And how do you break that? By getting in control of your mind. But how do you get in control of your mind? It's not by sitting on a mountain, meditating and doing kumbaya and hoping that you can do that. Yes, absolutely, meditation is an insanely powerful tool to be able to do that. Meditation allows you to view your thoughts. It allows you to see those old thought patterns pop up and you're like, why am I operating like that? And you'll find you're operating like that because someone told you 10 years ago that that's how you need to do things. But we got to break that. And how do you break that? By getting in control of your mind. How do you get in control of your mind? Well, one of the most powerful things, if not in all honesty, probably the most powerful thing that I've discovered to be able to take control of my thoughts has been through physical activities. Now, I don't necessarily just mean physical activity just in the form of exercise, but I've got a couple of examples I want to kind of share with you. Now, the first one I have mentioned before on a podcast, but the first one is cold water therapy. And I don't actually want to call it cold water therapy because it sounds really kind of therapeutic. I'm going to be honest, there's nothing really therapeutic about an ice bath. It's barbaric, it's brutal, and it's fucking horrible. It is. I mean, you feel great afterwards, but it ain't fun. Like, it's not. And if I look at why cold water, something like an ice bath or a cold shower, is so powerful, because every morning for the past 3 years, the first thing I have done in the morning is I go into the shower, and instead of going hot to cold, what I do is the first thing I do is I go and have a freezing cold shower. Why do I do that? Because my mind gives me absolutely every single reason as to why I shouldn't do that. My mind is trying to be in control of my behavior. Okay, my old thought patterns of, oh, not today, just be nice and rosy and cozy, just be really kind of warm, give yourself a little bit of a break, etc. All of those thought patterns are going through. They are. I've been doing this for 4 years and it doesn't change. As much as I'd love it to change, it doesn't. But actually, I wouldn't love it to change because the whole point of the exercise is that when I'm standing there and I'm looking at that freezing cold water coming down, every ounce of my mind is trying to direct my behavior to do something else. But the minute I take a breath, I go, I'm in charge and we're stepping in this fucking water. I'm in control of my thoughts. I've had the thought of, no, we are doing this and we're going in this specific direction. Then I am in control of my mind. My mind is not in control of me. And it's the same with a sauna, okay? I go in a sauna and I go, right, I'm committing to 15 minutes in this sauna. What happens is it gets to 10 minutes. And I get to 10 minutes and my mind starts to go, bit hot in here. Bit warm in here. God, you could have heat stroke. Oh, you could be dehydrated. Oh, you better get out. Oh, come on, you need to give yourself a break. Oh, you don't need to push yourself too much here, blah, blah, blah. All of those thoughts come to my mind. But it's not whether you have these thoughts that are the problem, it's whether you allow those thoughts to dictate your behavior. Because in that situation, if you give in, your mind is in control of you, as opposed to you being in control of your mind. Very important paradox here being that you are not your mind. And we're not going to go into that one. But you can control your mind. Your mind is trying to drive you to do this specific behavior. And then you either give into it and your mind is in control of you, or you go, no, we're doing this and you're in control of your mind. And every single day, it's a daily battle. And one way or the other, every day, someone wins. Either your mind wins and it's in control, or you win and you're in control. Effectively, your past wins and it is in control, which means that the past will repeat itself, or your future, the way you want to do things, wins, and you end up going down a different direction, and off the back of that, you get different results. So as an example, today I went for a run. I did a 10K run out on the trails, up some hills. Now, I'm going to be honest, the first 8 kilometers were actually really easy. Why were they really easy? Well, I was listening to a podcast with David Goggins on Joe Rogan, and I'm going to be honest, it's really, really easy to do a run in the trails when it's hot. It's really easy to do a run when you've got David Goggins basically saying, don't be a motherfucking bitch, don't be such a bitch, blah, blah. It's really easy to do that. Now, with 2 kilometers left, and it was I say it was easy to do. Like, it got a little bit rough because I'm running on stones, I'm running up hills, it's rock hard, it was hot. So it wasn't easy. But effectively, what was happening was I had 2 kilometers left. And what I decided to do was I decided to take my headphones out. Now, what was interesting, as soon as I took my headphones out, I wasn't listening to David Goggins anymore. I was listening to my mind. And I could hear my mind say, oh, this hurts a little bit. Oh, it's a bit hard. Be careful about your knees. Oh, how long have you got left? And it was interesting because my mind was constantly trying to tell me to look at my watch. It was telling me to look at my watch, go, how long have we got left? How long have we got left? And I was like, I know how long I've got left because I know where I started and I know I've got roughly 2 kilometers left. And looking at my watch and going, how much further have I got? It's not going to help me in the slightest. Whereas actually, I need to just keep going, keep moving forward with the process. But it was interesting because my mind was saying, it's really hot here, maybe take your top off. It's really hot here, maybe just have a walk. All of these things were popping up. Like your mind was just like trying to tell me all of these reasons. And it's only fucking 10K. But my mind was trying to give me all of these reasons to do it. And just because those thoughts were there doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to drive my behavior. But they could have driven my behavior. It could have gone, oh, your knees are really hurting. And then you focus on the sensation and you're like, yeah, actually, they do really hurt. I'm going to walk. That would have been my mind in control of me. So here's where we need to make sure that what we do is that we are consistently doing some form of activities and exercises that effectively put us in control of our mind. So it's the same with when you're at the gym. When you're at the gym, let's say you're on the bench press and you go like, right, okay, I'm only going to do 10. You go and do 10 and you know you've still got some in the tank. You know that you've still got 1 or 2 reps in the tank. But you go, oh no, we only agreed on 10. That's your mind effectively saying we only agreed on 10, and that's your mind driving your behavior. Whereas when I go, okay, we agreed on 10, but I can definitely squeeze 2 out here, you're in control, you're in charge. And this isn't about grinding, it's not. I think when I first listened to David Goggins, I struggled because I was like, you're just promoting grind. But he's not promoting grind. What he's basically saying is, I don't want to do this stuff, but I'm going to do it. And when he says, I don't want to do it, my mind is telling me I don't want to do this stuff, but I'm going to override my mind and I'm going to drive my behavior in the direction that I know is going to be beneficial to me. And it's the same with your business or your overall health and fitness results. Whatever it is, the thing that is in charge of the results that you get solely comes down to your mind. And you've got to take control of your mind. So you've got to take actions that result in you actually controlling your mind. So what are you going to do on a daily basis? Who's winning the war? Is it you or is it your mind? Is it your past self or is it your future self? Which then comes down to, we have to get clear on who is the individual that we want to be and how do they operate, and then begin operating like that person. And what's going to happen is you're going to get hit with resistance. You're going to get hit with resistance, and that resistance is your old self. It's your past self saying, but we don't operate that way. And it's like, no, you didn't operate that way, which is why we've got the results that we've got. But I'm not happy with those results, and I need to be a new person in order to get the new results. That's what we need to do. So here's a question to you. What can you do today that overrides your results? And it can be something, overrides your mind. And it can be something as stupid as unloading the dishwasher. My mind does not want to unload the dishwasher. Like, I don't want to do it. Okay, I've got Alice nagging me, going, unload the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher. I can't be asked to do it. And it sounds silly, but when I go, no, I'm going to unload the dishwasher, I'm taking control of my mind, and then I am directing my behaviors, and I am getting the results that I want to get. So even something as simple as washing up, doing the washing, doing the ironing, like, I don't want to do it. My mind doesn't want to do it, but I need to override it and be in control. When you feel that pull to scroll on Instagram, you feel the pull, that's your mind saying, hey, scroll on Instagram. But you've got two options. Either you give into it, or you take a breath. No, I'm in control and we're not doing this. Never forget, for every one of your clients, gave you just one new client, you've doubled your business.
Have you got a client who isn't losing weight right now and you have absolutely no idea why? And maybe you're worrying that if nothing changes, they could drop off at any moment? Well, I've got a free nutrition masterclass for you where I reveal the secret nutrition strategy that guarantees that stuck client loses 2 to 4 pounds in the next 7 days without lowering their calories, upping their cardio, or even tracking macros. Click the link in the description to get access to the free Elite Nutrition Secrets Masterclass and get your client moving in the right direction, stopping them dropping off today.